Hello everyone, my name is Kyle Crystal, and I am a delusional Yankees fan, and I'm going to tell you why the Yankees are going to win the World Series this season. As you know, the Yankees are on a 13-game win streak, and as if you've been keeping up with my channel, you would know that about 4 months ago I made a rant on how bad the Yankees are and how they might miss the playoffs. Since then, they have made the changes that I would like to see. They've added left-handed hitting, and they tried to improve pitching, and it hasn't really worked. Andrew Heaney was their big pitching acquisition at the deadline and didn't really do much. They added some guys, Joely Rodriguez and Clay Holmes, to the bullpen, who have been good but aren't expected to have a huge impact on the team. They're just additional guys that are helpful in situations. Wandy Peralta, who they traded Mike Tauchman for earlier in the season, has been tremendous, as we saw a couple days ago, helping the win streak with a huge save against Atlanta in a game which Chapman blew. Although, however, that game should have been ended earlier. There's tough breaks that didn't go the Yankees' direction. Chapman's finally getting his act together, and I'm starting to have trust in him. He hasn't been great, but he's getting there, and the way the team's playing, I have confidence in pretty much everybody, hitting, defensively, pitching, really everyone. Just the way they're playing with so much more energy, and I'll go through their lineup and tell you why they're gonna make it to the World Series. Let's start with the order. DJ's starting to turn into himself. His average is up above 270 again. Hasn't been this high for most of the season. He's been sitting 260. He's trending upward. We know what DJ LeMahieu can do. He's starting to do it. Adding Rizzo into the two hole is just a left-handed bat that's a tough out. Rizzo's gonna work pitchers. He's gonna have good at bats, and he's gonna hit some home runs. He's gonna hit some doubles, and he's gonna walk. That's what they want from him in the spot. They want him to get on base, and occasionally he'll get in situations to drive runs in. Judge batting three. He's been great. He leads the team in average around 280, 290 range. I think he might be able to finish the season around 290 if he stays hot. He's hitting more home runs again. You love to see it. He leads the team in RBIs. He's just been the best player as he's expected to be. Stanton's been playing great the month of August. He's turning towards being a player of the month. He's batting almost 330 on the month with 7 home runs. Just been tremendous. He's been good this season when he's been healthy. He's dealt with COVID once and had a little small injury where he missed a couple games. He's been great in the outfield, and it seems his offense has been better since they've moved him out there. Joey Gallo, he's the other big trade they made. Everyone knows Joey Gallo. Big power, a lot of strikeouts, a lot of walks. 3 true outcomes player. He's helpful to the Yankees lineup because obviously Yankee Stadium, small stadium. Fly balls relief. That 3-run homer he hit against Seattle that barely left, I don't think that goes out in many other ballparks. It just was up in the air forever. He hit a big home run the other day against Oakland, another 3-run bomb. Hopefully he can turn around and improve his average a little bit, but his on-base percentage is going to stay high with the amount of walks. Having him on base is great, and he's a plus defender compared to some of the other Yankee outfielders. I'd say he's a better defender than Brett Gardner. Gardner may be a little bit faster, but Gallo's arm makes up for it. Just his presence in the lineup helps a lot, makes the lineup deeper. Luke Voigt complained about his play time, but he's been hitting great since coming back from COVID. If he can stay healthy, it makes the Yankees lineup so much more dangerous. Him in the DH role was standing in the outfield. He's not a very good first baseman, and that's why Rizzo helps because Rizzo's a much better defender than Luke Voigt is. But Voigt's power, and he led the league in home runs last year, and it's just great to see. Gary Sanchez. Sanchez is your catcher most times. He catch everybody but Cole. Cole has his personal catcher in Higashioka. Sanchez has been much better defensively, and all you want from him is occasional power and put together some good at bats. He's a guy that'll get walked because he's a threat to hit a ball 500 feet every at bat. Just lengthens the Yankee lineup. And you got Gleyber Torres and Gio Urshela. You need Gleyber to be a little bit better defender, but his base running's improved along with the entire Yankees, and that's made them a completely different team. They've been running much more, and Gleyber's been a huge part of it, especially since Gleyber's gone out with his hand injury that he got from running. You have Andrew Velasquez and Tyler Wade stepping in who are doing the same thing. Get on base and run. That's what you need from Gleyber as well. And Gio Urshela is just tremendous defender. They could have used him in that game against Atlanta. If Odor made the play at third, the game would have been over and Chapman would have got the save, and we'd never be questioning Chapman. He would have had the save, and it would have been a lot easier. Let's move on to the bench. You got Gardner, Tyler Wade, Andrew Velasquez, and Rougned Odor, and Higashioka on your bench. Now, until they get a extended roster, someone's going to have to go down once Gleyber comes back. But you have two infielders that are versatile in Wade and Velasquez, and Wade picked up outfield as a position, so makes him more valuable, especially next year when they lose Brett Gardner. Gardner's your current extra outfielder that'll come in and play. Plays good defense, decent speed, left-handed bat, and Odor is your left-handed power bat. Don't really have a right-handed power bat. That's kind of Voigt, but he's the DH role. But obviously, you'll get games where Gardner goes in, and you have Sanchez stand in the DH or something similar to give guys days off. Um, Higashioka's your backup catcher. He's a better defender than Gary Sanchez, and he'll catch Cole. So it gives guys day off. Gary Sanchez a day off. Maybe move Sanchez to DH. Makes the lineup just so much more dangerous. Let's take a look at the starting pitching. The starting pitching is where the Yankees excel. This is what makes them so dangerous. You have Garrett Cole as your one. As of now, you have Jameson Taillon as your two, who's been much better than the start of his season. He had a start where he didn't get out of the first inning, and then really ever since then he's been a great pitcher. It's been just amazing to watch because you were always nervous when he took the ball, and now you're excited to see him pitch. Then you have the players that have made this season so much more important, so much more impactful. You got Nestor Cortez, who's just amazing to watch, fun to watch. It gets everybody excited. It just feels like they score more runs when he pitches. Jordan Montgomery is another solid pitcher, along with Andrew Heaney, just solid starters. Then you have the interesting part. They brought up Luis Gil, who is tremendous, and they unfortunately had to send him back down the way guys came back. But he was tremendous, and that's just what all good teams have. You have guys that come in and fill for injuries, especially this year with COVID. Guys come in, fill a hole, and do great. That's what you love to see. All good teams have that. Then you got the big guys that we don't know about. Corey Kluber and Luis Severino. We don't know what they're going to do when they come back. Kluber was the big offseason acquisition that's helping them play better. He had a great no-hitter earlier in the season, and he's been decent. A good solid too, especially when Taillon wasn't doing too good, so he'll be slotted in the 3 spot. You won't expect too much out of him, so anything you can get will be great. We know Kluber, and we know what he can do. And then Severino, this was before the season. Everyone was thinking that he'd be the big free agent signing, or the big trade deadline move, because that's when they expected him to come back. He's had some setbacks that's kept him out till now, but we all know what Severino can do, and hopefully if he's just 75% of himself, he'll work perfectly in the Yankees rotation. They don't need him to be the ace. They don't even need him to be the 2, and may not even need him to be the 3, depending on how Kluber does. Kluber's set to pitch, I believe, sometime next week, I think Tuesday, against the Angels, if I'm saying that correctly. So Severino won't have much pressure or expectation, so anything you can get out of him will be great. He's kind of similar to Luis Gil, similar pitching style, so we saw how effective Gil was, and Severino is obviously a much more proven pitcher that's been the Yankees' ace for some time. So having him in a spot where you don't have much expectation out of him, it'll be great because you know what he can do, and you hope you can get it. And if it doesn't go well, then it's okay. He'll rebound, come back the next season. Now let's talk about the Yankees bullpen. The bullpen's been some issue. Britton's been obviously pretty bad, dealt with some injuries. Chapman, same thing, COVID, and then he struggled a little bit. But Jonathan Loáisiga has been amazing. He's been by far their best reliever, followed by Chad Green. 2 good guys. They've been consistently healthy and pitching good enough. Chad Green's not a closer. He struggled in the closing role when they've asked him to do it, so that's why you kind of need Chapman. That's his role. He had his 300th career save. A lot of people don't realize this, but Chapman's been around for a while. He's experienced, and he's had a lot of saves. So his experience, he's one of, I believe, 2 guys that have won a championship. I believe it's just Chapman and Gardner from the 2009 Yankees. Gardner's been around for a while, and Chapman with the Cubs in 2016. So their experience will help, especially Chapman being a guy that you're going to give the ball to towards the end of the game in the playoffs. If you look at some of the other teams in the league, the only teams that I really think are give any sort of threat are the Rays and the Astros. I don't think the White Sox are that good. The Yankees have handled them nicely throughout the season. The Astros, I think the Yankees will be able to beat just because of the meaning of it. We saw how intense it was when the Yankees played them in the Bronx, how much the fans came out to support. I think it'll be a great series and something we want to see, especially if the Yankees, along the line of intenseness, if the Yankees and the Boston end up being the wild card matchup in New York, it'd be a great game. The Yankee stadium would be packed. It'd be amazing. Same with a Houston series. The only issue, I think, is the Rays. They're obviously the best team in the American League at this point, in my opinion. I think they are record-wide as well. Houston's been struggling a little bit. The Yankees are trying to catch them, but they can't. The Yankees won 13 in a row, and the Rays are 8-2 in their last 10. So they were 4 games back, but they really haven't gained that much ground on this streak. They do play the Yankees. The Rays and the Yankees play 3 times at the end of the season in September, October, the last 3 games of the season. So that'll be interesting to see. That's pretty much a playoff series before the playoffs start. I think at that time, hopefully the Yankees, it'll be a race for the division. It'll be cool to watch that. It'll be a huge important series. That'll kind of let you know where these 2 teams stand playing each other. The Yankees, I think, will be able to beat the Rays without Tyler Glasnow. They've always struggled against Glasnow. But they have also always struggled against the Rays. But they're a different team now. They haven't played the Rays with their new lineup, and that's going to make a huge difference. Kevin Cash was always able to go to those sidewinding throwing guys in the Rays bullpen and struggle with the Yankees because they always had righties. Now they got 2 lefties that can do a lot of damage, and it'll just make a huge difference on the impact. Then the NL, the Dodgers, That's really your big competition. I think Milwaukee's good with the starting pitcher, but I see the Dodgers. I see a Yankees-Dodgers World Series, and I see it being a great one. Both teams are stacked. Two of the top payrolls in the MLB. I know the Dodgers are one. I think the Yankees are three, but I'm not positive about that. They could be two. So it'll be a great series. It'll be what you expect with their payrolls. It'll be great for baseball. Two biggest cities, two biggest teams, two biggest names. Yankees, Dodgers. It'll be great to watch. I don't think anyone would complain about that being a World Series, unless obviously your fans one of the teams that get eliminated. But it'd be a very competitive series. Both teams are very good. It'd be great to watch. And I don't know about the Dodgers. They've struggled a little bit. If Cody Bellinger can get himself right, I think it'd be a better series. But I think the Yankees have the edge. I know they got Scherzer and Trey Turner, but I just think the Yankees, their lineup is so deep, and I don't really care about other teams starting pitching because the Yankees take pitches and draw walks, and I think they can get pretty much any starter out by the sixth inning and really work a bullpen. And I mean, besides the White Sox, I don't really see a great bullpen, and the Yankees have already proven that they can beat the White Sox bullpen. To beat the Yankees, I think what you need is you need your starter to go six, maybe seven, because they're gonna work them. But you need three good relievers to each go one inning, and that's really tough the way the Yankees take pitches. They have like kind of two different like lineups, being their 1 through 3 hitters are your guys, and then it's such a deep lineup. It's tough to navigate. The bottom of the lineup's gonna hit singles and run. The top of the lineup's gonna hit the ball out of the ballpark. It's tough to face, and I personally would not want to face it. I would not want to manage a bullpen through it. With the three batter minimum and now the Yankees lefty righty mix, it's going to be very hard for other teams to do it. You can't have put in a righty to take care of Giancarlo Stanton and then go to a lefty to take care of Joey Gallo. You just can't do it. You can't switch like that. And along the lines, Anthony Rizzo hits lefties better than he hits righties. The only way you can beat the Yankees is really if you hit balls in the gap because their outfield is not that good defensively. A little slower guys, but good arms. And if you're playing the Yankees in a series, you got to play at least 3 games in Yankee Stadium, assuming you have higher seated advantage, and that ballpark's too small to really take advantage of those outfielders. And the other teams, the Rays and the Dodgers, those are probably the biggest competition. Nothing really there you can take advantage with those stadiums. So that is why I think the Yankees are going to win the World Series, but I am a delusional Yankees fan. So you let me know. I don't see many flaws in this team that I saw earlier. Let me know what you think, and let me know who you think is winning the World Series.